Hey guys, Wolvie here with a Destiny of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global video for the 1st of April 2020. This is supposedly April Fool's Day, but this is not a fool, so we got quite a bit to go over today, including a look at 2 new panel missions. One of them is extremely limited time, so I'm just going to jump straight into some stuff here and there. It's going to be a bit of a lengthy video. It's about 3:05 a.m. here in the Windy City area. That's where I'm at in the United States. So I'm going to be going back and forth between the slides, the calendar, and the Chocobo panel mission, so that way there is a mutual understanding of what's going on. And later on this video is going to be my opinions on the April calendar. The very end is going to be something evolving in the calendar, so stay tuned to when I get to that point. So we're just going to jump straight into the Chocobo panel missions. First and foremost, like I said, there are 2. One of them is extremely limited time, so we're going to go into that. I actually got it done. It's a matter of minutes, believe it or not. There is something going on right now in the world of illusions, known as the Trials of the Spirit Moogle. This is one of those brand new quote-unquote summons, but it's yeah. So here are the 5 panel. I said 5, it's 9. So you have here clear 5 quests with Terra, Spirit Moogle level Spirit Moogle to 5, defeat Terra Mannequin times 5, level Spirit Moogle to 20, bind Spirit Moogle, level Spirit Moogle to 15, clear 5 Trials of the Spirit Moogle quest, level Spirit Moogle to 10, clear 5 quests with Spirit Moogle as summon. The reason why this is extremely time limited, because in the world of illusions, this is also extremely time limited. So fortunately, this is like really quick, really easy, so should be no problem getting this done within minutes. However, there is another batch of Chocobo panel missions. It is as follows: clear 20 quests with Paladin Cecil in the party, get an item with Dissidia points, defeat Mind Flare times 20, clear 20 quests with Steiner in the party, use support item, defeat 20 Nightmare types, log in 8 days during the monthly missions early April period, defeat 15 Merilith types, clear 70 quests. This one, I mean, it really depends on what you're planning on doing, but this is not going to be a walk in the park on an overall level. I do like the fact that it's just 70 quests all together, so that means World of Illusions or co-ops, all that stuff. I like that type of combination. So that is the 2 panel boards. There's quite a bit to go over in this video, and with some of the stuff that involves my opinion, please keep in mind it is my opinion only. So with that out of the way, like I said, we're going to go over the preview slides and the calendar, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be understood back and forth. So before we get into that, there is an addressed issue. Says here some characters that are being boosted in the world of illusions, Trials of the Spirit Moogle. So you gotta restart the app for the changes to be reflected. And this is the maintenance extension. There was an extension on both ends, and by both ends, Android and iOS devices. So there is the Apollo gems, quote unquote, of 300 gems. And with that out of the way, we're going to go into parts of the calendar, but we're going to also get into the other aspects here. First and foremost, we have here the events Draw the Marauding Mimesis. This is part of the Spring Festival Part 2. This particular banner has a free multi. Has the 1535 EX weapons for Vincent, Sephiroth, and Keishi. And I did the free pull because I just want to get rid of some resources. I only got a Dupe 35 of Keishi. That's an easy Power Stone. That's not on that. With that particular banner, it really depends on what you have. So, but for me, it's just a free multi, that's it. I'm not doing anything more in that particular banner. We're going to go into the aspects of both the calendar and the preview slides, because again, it's going back and forth between those two. So we're gonna go into some stuff that's in the calendar, some stuff that's not. So some stuff that's not in the calendar is called World of Illusions Trials of the Spirit Moogle. If I can get this up on the screen. This is very limited time. It's only up to the 6th of April at 1:59 a.m. UTC. That's near the UK. So this is a very, very limited time. This should be a top priority for everybody on Global. So this is it right here. Blessing raises Terra's love by 10%. Restores all of Terra's debuffs. Raises her attack by 1.1. So this is one of those where you have to have Terra in the party with Spirit Moogle. But you only have one turn, so let's keep that in mind. So this is it right here. The materials you'll need to get the Spirit Moogle up to level 20. So it's kind of like the Sylph and Chocobo summons. Very fast, but less turns. And then again, the Chocobo panel missions. You just saw the exact missions and certain rewards. So that's all good on that one. And with that out of the way, we're going to go into back and forth between a lot of this stuff. We got the April 2020 content preview. That's going to go into the calendar. So we're going to go into the content preview because one of the quote-unquote slides, believe it or not, has a little bit of information on a certain aspect of the calendar. So we're just going to jump straight into that right away. So we're going to skip some of this stuff. But this is the one thing I want to kind of point out because I'm going to I will be revisiting this at the end. So with the spring daily missions, there's going to be one a day for a total of 10. And once we get to the Spring Festival Part 2, I was going to elaborate on what the exact missions are. And with a specific mission you complete per day, you get one EX weapon token. You get 10, you exchange it for EX weapon of your choice. I will do a spoiler here. The most recent list of EX weapons available to pick from, which is from the Dimensions and Order list, it's going to be the exact same. So it's one of those, it's like, who do you still need? And it says here in the slides, if you miss a day or two, don't worry, missed missions will stay available throughout the Spring Festival, and you can clear as many as are available in one go. So if you miss like maybe the 5th and or 6th days, you're still going to be there until the end of the festival. So that's all good. This is the Marauding Mimesis. These are mannequins. Once again, there's the level 70 and the level 100 co-ops. So that's that on that. The one emphasis I want to go into in the slides here is the mission dungeon, Burrow of the Phoenix. This is from the 9th through the 23rd of April 2020. And believe it or not, the reason why I want to elaborate this a little bit here is because this will have a rework and an EX realization for Celtic for Final Fantasy VIII. So, for those of you who play JP, you kind of know who's going to be featured in this particular of the two banners. There is going to be a normal and a hard for this particular mission dungeon. This is new to Global. And there's a normal hard. You got to get the perfect on all 6 to face Phoenix. Once you finish Phoenix, you get an additional 3 challenging quests being unlocked. That requires characters with certain crystal colors. So in this here, I do want to point out here that when it comes to this particular mission dungeon, this will have 2 banners. Both of them will have a free first multi. So this one and the Marauding Mimesis, those will be 3 of the 5 banners throughout the April calendar. And by that, 5 banners having a free first multi-pull. So, with that bit out of the way, we're going to go into the calendar, but I want to mention some quality of life updates here. And that is the friend list multi-select. This gives you the chance to pick up to 20 players at once and do whatever you want with them. Remove, follow, unfollow, that sort of thing. Now, there's also the free ability use visual indicator adjustment. So it has a pulsating effect when you have a free skill use available. Now, another thing I want to get into is Abyss Normalist. Now, they mentioned here that it has the first 3 strata at Cosmos difficulty. What this does not mention is that I did a little digging in this, and there actually is some stuff at the chaos difficulty. So a little omission. This might upset some players, but this is one of those where it's up to individual interpretation with the particular omission here. Now we're going to get into the event schedule full blown. So, knowing that we have Abyss Normalist and the second half of the Spring Festival, what else is coming up? Besides that and the Mission Dungeon, with the Phoenix being the first one. So, on the 2nd of April, again, all the dates here are UTC. So, you want to adjust this to your local time zone. We have the Lost Chapter for Vayne from Final Fantasy XII. This has a 7070 and EX realization for Vayne, alongside the 7070 Awakening rework and EX realization for Paladin Cecil, who is synergy on this particular event, if you will, with Vayne. Now, Cyan, he gets a rework at a later date, so keep that in mind. Now, from the 6th of April to the 20th of April is going to be a rerun of the Beatrix event. Now, the reason why I say it like this is because Beatrix was the first global first player for the global side a year ago. Now, with global following JP more closely than ever, they went along and rerun the event instead of the Lost Chapter, which in my opinion is the correct call. Now, when I do prediction videos, like I do them for fun and that sort of thing. I just don't like getting stuff right. I just like to make predictions, just for fun. So this is a rerun of Beatrix's event, and the synergy for this instance is different than the global first version. Meaning that the global first version was Beatrix, Terra, and Kryle. Now the rerun, quote unquote, is Beatrix Steiner, who gets a rework and his 7070 Awakening here, and Vanille. Vayne joins in as Lost Chapter synergy. Now with Vayne and Beatrix's banners, these two will round out, quote unquote, the 5 banners that have a free first multi, meaning that the Marauding Mimesis, the 2 banners tied to the Mission Dungeon, Beatrix's rerun, and Vayne's Lost Chapter. Now with Vayne's Lost Chapter banner, I definitely will be pulling on this. And the thing is, what happened when Vayne first showed up is that it was bad timing for me because I was saving for Rydia, and I had a string of bad RNG look close to the time, so I'm like, you know what, I need to recuperate my resources. So with that out of the way, we have here on the 9th of April, I'm going to be skipping the Mission Dungeon because I kind of went over that in a little bit more detail. So on the 9th of April is going to be the 9th tier, 2 Dimensions and Entropy. Now, when it comes to this particular part of Dimensions End, The entropy aspect is just the chaos difficulty. Now, on the 15th of April, it is the global debut of Leo Christoph, aka General Leo for Final Fantasy VI. He is going to be part of my opinions, and the opinion section of this video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rant. And he is, unfortunately, part of it. But you'll see what I mean when we get there. Now, of course, with Act 2, Chapter 8, there's going to be the co-op aspect to it, which the co-op is limited time. The main story is permanent. On the 20th of April is going to be the Lost Chapter for Final Fantasy XII. This only has a 7070 Awakening and an EX debut / realization for Fran, as well as Ash's EX weapon getting realized. Now, on the 23rd of April through the 7th of May 2020 is going to be the global debut of X-Death from Final Fantasy V. This one will feature an EX realization for Gilgamesh. Some people would have wanted Lena at this time, but Gilgamesh getting his EX realization with X-Death is, in my opinion, the correct call because of the history between X-Death and Gilgamesh, if you have played the game. So, with that all out of the way, what is my exact opinion on all of this? Now, I do have to be completely honest here. The timing of the events that's going on, it's going on and coming up in the April calendar. This is one of the biggest mistakes Global has made. With the current situation going on worldwide that has a lot of people in panic, plus competition in form of the recently released on Global War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and the upcoming release of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, by the way, it's an incomplete game, but it does have a more in-depth look at the Midgar section of the game. The timing of the content coming up for DFFOO is extremely bad. The reason why this is the worst timing is because you got a lot of competition. There's a couple of people on Facebook mentioning they're playing War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and less time on DFFOO. There's also a couple of people on Facebook where one is planning on coming back from the break they've already been taking from the game, and one that's about to go on break to focus on the remake. If the developers don't take note of this now, then when will they? When it's too late? And the whole aspect of this having an accelerated pace, this is repeating September and October all over again. You do not want to overwhelm players to the point where they're going to want to take a break or even leave the game. This is a bad business decision. And you'll have noticed that there is no Awakening Wave in the April calendar at all. Now, for those who are looking for the Lightning EX realization with her 7070 Awakening, or even Hope's rework in EX realization and his 7070 Awakening, the developers on Global missed a big opportunity for extra money. And this is something they will have to live with. And another part of the quote-unquote rant, which is in my opinion, does fall into the aspect of Act 2, Chapter 8, me being Leo. Now, you're kind of wondering, why is he a part of your rant, Wolvie? Now, I'm going to explain certain things about the whole thing with meta and for mobile gadget games. The thing is, when characters are considered meta for whatever reason, those types of characters will eventually be replaced in time by somebody else who does their job better. As much as I don't want to be the one that says this, I have to be the one that says this. It's a never-ending cycle. Where you have this unit, oh, this unit's so good. Then Some time passes, somebody else comes along, oh, that unit sucks now, this unit's better. That sort of thing. And the thing is with what Leo could do, there are people who could do certain aspects of his job just as good, if not better. And that's really heartbreaking to see. Now, with his particular banner, I will be pulling on it, but only for one item. And that is Galoof's EX weapon, because when General Leo makes his debut, Galoof gets his 7070 Awakening and his rework, plus his EX debuts with its realization already. And I like Galoof. So, that's it on that. And then with Fran, her banner, I definitely will be pulling on it. Again, it's just going to be for Fran's EX weapon, because I do have Ash ready to get realized. So that's on that. So, but outside of all of the fact that the timing of all of this is a big mistake on Square Enix's end, I'm hoping that, they start taking a much closer look at people who are either taking a break already or about to. And not try to put in so much content to overwhelm some of the other players. With that being said, I'm not really sure what's going on in the sense of the timing of some of the content. But you know what? I don't make this type of decision making. But before we get into the final part of this video, which is the EX weapon I'm planning on going after with the third batch of EX weapon tokens, I do want to point out something to the entire global player base, and this is based on the fact that I looked on my Instagram page, I caught a couple of posts from somebody that I interact with from California, and with that, there might not be a stream for the May calendar. Now, the reason why that is that in the state of California, there is an extension on the current situation where the extension in California is through the 3rd of May over there. Now, here where I live in Illinois, it's something similar. The extension for my state is through the 30th of April. So with that information, there might not be a stream to preview the May calendar. And again, it's due to the situation in California. They put out an extension that goes through the 3rd of May. Now, to end this on a happy, positive note, we're going to go into the EX Weapons shop. And like I said, I'm going to just let you guys know who I'm going to go after, because I'm not doing a separate video on it. So, again here, you notice here the exchange here. It says 15 days here. You notice here that everything is the exact same. So we're going to do a hypothetical pull, and you're kind of wondering, who am I going to go after, and why? Now, you notice on my list, I have quite a few of these EX weapons, at least at 3 out of 3 in base mode. Now, knowing that, who am I going to pick? Now, for me, it comes down to the RNG aspect. If someone's always going to give me bad RNG, no matter what banner they're on, it's not even worth it for me to pull on other banners where the character is involved in that banner. So, knowing that, my pick with the third batch of EX weapon tokens is going to be Yuna from Final Fantasy X and X-2. The reason why I will be going after her EX with the weapon tokens from the third batch is that when it comes to banners that she's involved in, she's always given me such bad RNG and luck. Now, knowing that Kimahri's Lost Chapter banner is coming up in the future, I'm just going to be wasting my time and resources whenever his Lost Chapter shows up. So to spare myself the headache, I'll be going after Yuna's EX weapon with the third batch of EX weapon tokens. Now, I could be going after Vaughn, but I almost never use it. And the same thing could be said for Bars. So that's that on that, and the only reason why I'm not going after Paladin Cecil or even Dark Knight Cecil is that Paladin Cecil, he is part of being Flush Captain Banner. I'll be saving my resources, in a much more useful way, and by that, in the regard of the EX weapon tokens, instead of wasting it on Paladin Cecil, I go after Yuna instead. Now with Dark Knight Cecil, I'm probably going to be waiting for his first rework, so that's that on that. My final thoughts overall is that with the developers, is that with the timing of certain things going on, is that you gotta be mindful of the player base and the situation that could be affecting some of us. Trying to put so much out and so close to each other, you're asking the players to be overwhelmed, and not in the good way. With a certain crisis going on right now worldwide, the last thing anybody, developer, player, whatever, the last thing any one of us would want is to be overwhelmed to where bad things really do happen. Where the situation gets worse before it gets better. And to the parts of the community, especially on Facebook, we really need to start being more respectful towards each other. Because suggestions to only follow the meta, oh, you got these awesome banners coming up in this month, we shouldn't be criticizing each other for the pulls we make, or the things we skip. And being that discouraging, you're only making the community much worse. And the comment that I saw towards the very end of the February live stream that previewed the March calendar, that comment is spot on, and that's why I still agree with it to this day. So with that, I'm going to be going to bed pretty soon, and that is that. With Wolvie here signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.